What is going on, everybody? It's Mr. Banks here coming at you live with another trade recap review on NVIDIA today with my BBR strategy, the bounce break reject strategy. Before we get started, go ahead and click that button to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you do not miss any of these videos that we put out daily for you guys. Now, the BBR strategy, as we know, if you're new, it is the bounce break reject strategy. It is a morning trade strategy that I have created and tested and am very successful with. Now we know that stocks only do three things. They will only bounce on support, they will reject off of resistance, or they will break through either one of those. Now today on my watch, I had NVIDIA break and hold 142 for calls, break and hold below 132.50 for puts. Now, these were my safe levels based off of Friday trading. But then I came back and I said, we could actually take puts off of the 136 break and have a 133 target. Now, let's go over how I found these levels. And again, for any of those asking, I do put these trade plans out there for my super followers every morning. So you get these every morning, it's $10 a month. Go ahead and hit that super follow and guaranteed your portfolio will be green from it. So let's get into NVIDIA and how I drew these levels so that you can do it on your own. Now today on NVIDIA, how I do the BBR strategy or the bounce break reject strategy, how I find those levels every morning is I actually wait until pre-market. I look for their pre-market high. I look for their pre-market low. I look at the previous day high, the previous day low, as well as the previous day close. And that is how I find my levels. So looking at this chart, we do have NVIDIA. So I'll just go ahead and I'm going to go through how you'd be able to create these levels or find these levels on your own. So 142, like I said earlier, the previous day high is a level that that we will be drawing in this strategy. So we can go ahead and draw right there. Obviously, it's not exactly 142, but I wanted a clear break of 142 to head higher. As you can see, we had this little FVG. And again, my 132.50. Sorry, guys. 132.50 was going to be give me 1 second. Was going to be a major level down here on Thursday. Now, I wanted to play it safe today because I wanted to make sure that, if we were going to see some downside, that we really needed to see some downside. And this demand here that was on Thursday was going to be failed, right, guys? So this is where I found my 132.50. I wanted to go ahead and make sure that we closed below this to take puts. So seeing that it was a 3-day weekend, this is a little bit different than exactly the pre-market highs and lows previous day, but having it be a 3-day weekend, I wanted it to play it safe today as far as these levels go, especially if I'm giving you guys levels. I don't want to give you a level where you get caught off sides, especially if you're new. You're not going to know when to flip, to the other way or take profit or cut losses. So I definitely try to create levels that are very safe for you to play. Both of these levels to the upside or downside were very safe levels to play. So we could see there's a lot of demand around 132.50. And then obviously we had a nice reject off of 142. We could see it, once we broke down, we couldn't even get past up 142. So this was another major level to look at. Now 136, how did this come into play? Now I didn't really mess with the pre-market levels today because I didn't want, it was all fluff to me. I needed to see direction. I needed to see more major levels be broken or touched if I was going to take a trade today, considering again that it was a 3-day weekend And I didn't want to catch anybody offsides. I didn't want to be offsides. And I'd rather play, I always play Mondays, the first day, trading day of the week, safe, because we have the rest of the week to make a trade to make your whole entire year sometimes. So 136, how did I find this level? Now, this level was very respected and to close on Friday. You could see we came down and we respected 136 very well. So I saw, if 136 broke, where are we going to head? 133 was my target, and then if we broke below 132.50, that's where, we could see a major continuation into the downside. But you guys kind of seeing how I'm finding these levels? Pretty much this major demand, support and resistance levels. Right here, 136. If we broke that, we knew that the next level was going to be around 133, right? 133. But I wanted to make sure past 132.50 as a confirmation for continuation. So 136 we saw on Friday was a major support level that it bounced off of. So I knew that if we broke that, that is where I was going to enter in to take some puts today. Now in the Discord, I go ahead and I give you guys when I do enter into a play. We entered into this, pretty early on. The market was getting drippy. I entered into the 135 put at 330. When we're playing or when I play breakdowns or breakouts, I like to really enter light and wait for confirmation to go heavier into it. We have a lot of false breakouts, right? A lot of false breakdowns that can get you offside. So it's better to take the trade before the break, but enter it lightly. And that's what I do. And I also try to stay, at the money, maybe a couple points, a little out the money, but I definitely try to stay, at the money when I do take a trade. Sometimes I go in the money, I think it's just a safer play for me. Obviously, you can get bigger gains with a further out the money contract, but I like to really play it safe, especially when people look up to me and are taking my trades. So moving back, we went ahead and took this trade. As you can see, when I talk about taking it lightly, we took it lightly. And I waited until 20%, guys. I shoot for 20%. I secured profits and left runners. Now, when we take the break lightly, we want to make sure that it's light, right? Because we can always get a false, breakdown or breakout. In this case, a breakdown. So once I had the confirmation that we weren't going to head back over 136 here is when I entered heavier, got my 20%, and I left runners until the end. Now, as you can see, once we broke back above, it bounced, right, guys? So once we break, it bounced. Another thing, stocks will always bounce, break, or reject. Again, I played the breakdown today. I played the break of the strong 136 support, looking for the 133 level as my target, which we found here on Thursday. Now, I want to make sure when we play breaks are usually my least favorite thing to do. I kind of like to wait for rejects. And that's where I came up with this whole, if you're going to play a break, take it light. Take one contract, take it lightly. So that way you're not panicking. You're not panicking if it false breakout, comes back and bounces back on you and reverses. And you're also not going to lose a lot of money if it really does reverse the wrong way, right? You can take it to enter, so you have a good entry, so you are profitable, and then you can re-enter on the confirmation of the retest, right? So once we break down anything, the stock is going to go back and retest it and see, was it a true break? On this case, it was. We broke down from 136. Once I had the confirmation, entered in heavier, wrote it for 20%, and then left my runners. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be making more trade recaps. I make them every day for you guys. And again, one thing I do want to add lastly is with my levels, you can kind of consider them pivot point levels. So as we can see, 136, if we broke above that, you could have taken calls. Now, I put, I guess you could say, my bias towards them of where I think the market is going to head in the morning trade. And that is why I say puts. But again, these levels are major levels that you can use as pivot points. So if you miss this, once we saw it was going to break over 136, you could have taken calls, because we know that this is a major level, pivot point level that the stock is playing off of. And it played out beautifully today. You could see that 136 was a very beautiful level. You could have played multiple times throughout today. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a good evening, and I will see you next time on Trade Recap.